We think of Juneteenth in Galveston, but I'm speaking with a couple of historians today who say we need to think of that history even further south because decades before Juneteenth, Hispanics were helping enslaved blacks escape to Mexico.
The Mexican government welcomed fugitive slaves.
Documents dating back beyond the 1800s here in the Galveston and Texas History Center that historians Samuel Collins III and Dr. Juan Galvan are showing me give a new outlook on the Underground Railroad, which most equate to the system that helped slaves escape north to freedom.
We often think about Canada, but enslaved people in Texas actually ran south to Mexico because Mexico had outlawed slavery.
Although not everyone describes the help Hispanics gave as work on the railroad.
Because when you say Underground Railroad, that implies a network as sophisticated as the one to Canada.
But Dr. Galvan says research shows Hispanic abolitionists were well organized as many came together to help thousands of enslaved blacks in Texas make it to freedom in Mexico.
There were many marriages between Mexican men and African-American enslaved women.
Part of the story is that people were not just waiting to be rescued.
Collins says some slaves saved for years to pay to be taken to Mexico. When Texas was still Mexican territory, it was illegal to have slaves here. So slave owners began drafting contracts like this. The papers would claim the people listed, including some as young as 3 years old, agreed to work for them for life.
For the term of 99 years to learn the art and mystery of farming and planting.
So friends to the South stepped in.
In 1857, the government of Mexico amends the Constitution. Mexico amends the Constitution now, declaring that any former slave who steps on Mexican territory is now a Mexican citizen and therefore a free person.
Once slaves escaped to Mexico, many made good lives, including a couple of Sam Houston's former slaves.
One of them became a barber and opened a barber shop in Matamoros, Mexico. Another one became an officer in the Mexican army.
And these are just a few of the books available on the topic. The historians are encouraging you to head to the library and get to know the information for yourself. In Galveston, I'm Damalie Keith, Fox 26 News. Typically when we think of
Shalom. First and foremost, honor of all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect, and the 1/3 remnant out there listening and doing this word with all faith and sincerity, scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth to you. I say shalom, Lord willing. This video's edifying is going to be sent around. This video that you just seen on the screen, and you know, a lot of people don't really know this history when it comes to the relationship of, you know, the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom here in America. You know, the humble beginnings. Right, we all started out, you know, as you know, on the same side. We both had the same enemy, you know, and we both understood that for the most part. At this time, you know, during colonization, and slavery. You know, in a lot of instances, you had, you know, different tribes, you know, banding together to fight against Esau, right? And this is what they don't really go into. They don't teach you this because, you know, it would pretty much encourage more positive relationships between so-called blacks and Hispanics and so-called Native Americans, you know. because they don't want to, see us together. They don't want to see us on the same or cooperating. All right. Believe it or not, man, when Esau sees us out there, doing the work of Yahweh Shemel Shai, he sees all 12 tribes, The Lord brought, scriptures say 12,000 of each tribe. So we're out there and we're speaking boldly, brothers in different languages, right? That puts great fear in Esau because he sees pretty much the tribes are reunited. All right. And he knows that when we are united in knowing who we are and fully, focused on the Lord, he knows that it's over. Right. So he does everything to try to prevent that. And, obviously, it didn't matter what he did because this is prophecy. But when you look into it, man, our people have always, stuck together, man. Even in for example, this, man, Jake always, came together, right, when it mattered the most, even though, a lot of niggas, during this time went against their own people. But for the most part, man, Jake, we looked out, man, and that's the spirit because, that way of being has completely left Jake. Right, Jake is not like that no more. So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they truly view themselves as different. They don't look at each other as the same. They look, a nigga tell you that the Edomite is more similar to him than his fellow brother, right? Southern Kingdom, or so-called black man, will tell you that so-called Hispanic is his enemy. But the so-called white man, is someone that he needs to build a relationship with. Like, this man enslaved you, okay? He continues to oppress you, and you still want to. But what is this so-called Hispanic done? Suffer the same shit that you suffer with you, But niggas are simple. That's why 2/3 have to get put down. This is Jeremiah 50:33. Thus saith Yahweh Shemel Shai of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives, held them fast. They refused to let them go. See, so we're in captivity together. Okay, we all getting it, right? All tribes, all 12, all getting it here in America. Okay. So that whole thing, that whole notion, Jake trying to, really sit up here and pretend like you don't got, like niggas and spics don't got the most in common. Like y'all don't got the same enemy, the same struggle. You a goddamn fool, but you still have some Jake out there that's you still try to keep that, mindset, even in a lot of these camps, these other camps outside of Great Millstone. Great Millstone pretty much is the most diverse camp because we judge based off the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai, the Rakakwadash. We don't do it based off of how somebody looks, right? That's why brothers look like all different, all different. Brothers look all different. Some brothers look like, Filipino. Some brothers look, like Edomites, but we all are, we all got the spirit of Yahweh Shemel showing us, So we've always been in this thing together, man, right? And that's what we push. That's why we don't just, when we talk about Jake, we don't just talk about one particular sect. You know, a lot of these other guys out here is black everything, black Messiah and black this and black. No, man. Okay, it's 12 tribes, and not all of us are referred to as so-called black. You know, so we try to come up out of that, man. You know, we don't perpetuate that shit on each other, that division. Okay, because this is an example, clear example that we were united. You know, when we were during the time of David, right? We you know, we were united, Northern and Southern Kingdom. We were one house, right? We didn't have this division. We didn't treat each other like we do now, right? This is Amos 9 and 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof. And those breaches are what? You know, that whole, you know, light skin, dark skin shit, Spanish, English. Both of you, you know, you got them niggas out there that push that shit. I mean, you don't even look like me. His hair a little straighter. They all look like, man, you know, you carnal ass, simple ass niggas, man. Stupid. You know, and you got, believe it or not, you got niggas out there who believe that the Northern Kingdom is only the chosen and the Southern Kingdom, you know, so-called Hispanics are the chosen, but the so-called blacks ain't. Like, you know, you niggas are bug outs, man. Okay? And you're silly. All right? And you hate each other more. You hate your own brother more than you even hate Esau. You know, bunch of wicked niggas, man. You know, and I will raise up his ruins and I will build it as in the days of old, right? The Lord is restoring that old spirit back on, you know, his men, right? The house of David, Lord, will we be of that house, man. Lord, will we be of that number, okay? So that's why we practice the traditions in which we practice of loving each other and not seeing past, you know, what the naked eye sees, but what about what the spirit, man, you know? That's why you will have a brother in the camp that look like, you know, a so-called Edomite, right? Because we practicing, you know, our spiritual, you know, discernment. Right, this is Isaiah 11 and 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. A big thing in prison. You got, you know, the so-called Latinos and so-called blacks. They beef, you know, but they both do dealings with. You know, they both have dealings with Esau. You know, Esau's pretty much, you know, playing both sides, right? Just like he do, you know, in the outside world. He pins so-called blacks and Hispanics against each other as enemies, you know, while he sit back and benefits off both, right? He's your real enemy, but he's telling you that your bigger enemy is your brother. And niggas believe it. Okay? Niggas go for it and support that idea. You know why? Because it's easier to hate someone who can't do anything to you. You could talk all that shit, you know, and really that's weak, you know, because you cannot deny the fact that so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans have the same plight under the same curses, right? Can't deny that we you know, we're related, right? So for you niggas to ignore that out of, you know, spite for your brother, you know, because it's a soft target. Jake is a soft target. Everybody, you know, come at Jake because Jake don't have no defense. Thou weren't Jacob, right? That's weak. But we, you know, that's why we are the premier camp. Great millstone, starting off with the apostles and elders on down. Premier camp, because we called it we call it how it is, man. You know, you niggas can't handle that. All right. And that's why we say confident and boldly, you know, we got the 100% truth, man. You know, this is it's Hebrews 10 and 32, but call to remembrance the former days. See, the former days in which we were in our pinnacle, right? When we were ruling, when things were going best for us, right? When we were righteous, right? In which after ye were illuminated, ye endured a great fight of afflictions. And that's what we, you know, we're going through now, man, right? Our people hate each other, and, you know, we overcoming curses, but we, you know, we remember remember those former days, man. Okay, and we try to practice that, right? The scriptures speak on that, right? Forget how it was worded, but you know, you practice it, you know, to the best. Our righteousness is filthy rags, man. You know, practice to the best of our ability. You know, we ain't perfect, okay, but we love each other, man. You know, we show each other love through what? Rebuke, through what? Counsel, right? So with that, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shabbat Shem Rakakudas Wa Abba Babal and DTADTN.